I went to YouTube and I was like, life of a web developer. You were like top two, top three.
It's humbling to see something that I thought no one cared about make an impact. My childhood, dang, I never talk about that. My parents divorced when I was really young. High school wise, I went to, I think, 5 different high schools.
What, 5?
College sucked. I dropped out of, I think, 4 different colleges. I got bullied a lot. One of those bullies a couple years ago asked me, hey, Chris, I'm sorry for how I treated you. Can you teach me how to code? I told him no, but damn man, if he would have told me back then, I'd be where I am today. Paid off car, about to buy a pretty nice house, and that house will be paid off in 5 years. So by the time I'm 43 or 42, no bills. It's crazy to think that's even possible, but it's like kind of too possible, if that makes sense. Like I can see it so clearly now. It's just funny how, you know, the tables turn.
We are live with the one and only Chris Sean. What's up, brother?
Hey man, it's nice to see you doing content, man. It took you a minute to start creating content, but that's good. You get it going. It's not easy, huh?
It's not easy, bro. The sleepless nights.
Sleepless nights. Oh, editing.
Yeah.
That's why I've been editor now. That makes it much easier.
Bro, I remember watching some videos of you like sleeping like late nights, like 3, 4, 5, editing videos, and I'm like, yo, how are you doing it? At that time, I wasn't even doing videos yet, but now I'm like, yeah, it's overwhelming, bro. That plus your job plus life.
Yeah, it's a grind. It's I used to watch someone named Gary Vee. I don't watch him anymore, but Gary Vee, and he talked about consistency and how you need to take advantage of creating content on YouTube now, especially if you're creating content in a niche where no one else really does that, aka vlogging and tech. I was the only one doing it at the time, or very few people, but I think the first, if not one of the first. And I knew, okay, I need to keep going at it, even though I'm only getting 2,000, 5,000 views a video or whatever at the time, if not less. I knew that if I can do this well, take advantage of it, I can capitalize it 3, 4, 5 years down the line. I didn't capitalize on it. I didn't start making a lot of money until 5 years in, actually. So it was just, I knew the rewards would I would reap its benefits later down the line. And so I knew I should take advantage of it at the time. So I was tired. Didn't know how to edit. I needed to learn how to edit video via Adobe Premiere while learning how to code on my first tech job. That was intense.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's a lot, man. I think people don't understand like the amount of work that goes into like a 30-second clip. Like not to mention a long form YouTube video. Like it's a lot. The color grading, post, like it's.
And hopefully your mic works.
Hopefully your mic works, bro. Hopefully your mic works, man. But yeah, I'm in here, man. I'm trying my best, and obviously you've been doing it for a while. And if you guys know who Krishan is, like, I call Krishan like the goats of like web development, honestly. And I'm not saying that to gas you up because you're my friend, because like you've been doing this, man. And before we start, dissecting like your journey, I want to say thank you, for paving the way for me and a lot of people that I know to know that, or like have the confidence or have some kind of inspiration that we can get into tech too, and not only get into tech, we can actually thrive, make good money in tech, make a lot
of money, more than you would have before, prior to tech, potentially, right? Like I was making $18 an hour living in California.
Living in Cali, that's crazy, bro.
Yeah. So hence why I was living in my car. And that was before that I became a dev. And when I became a dev, I was only making 21 an hour in California, which is still very little, right?
Yeah.
It's funny that you mentioned that because I go to this Christian church. I don't know if you know who John MacArthur is, but like it's a very conservative Christian church.
Yeah, I've heard the name. Yeah.
And I made friends with a lot of people there, and 2 of them were actually subscribers. Who they told me in front of my wife about all the exes that I used to date. Told me about my life.
That's diabolical. That's crazy.
Dude, yeah, it's weird. It's weird, but they've been watching my videos since 2017 or whenever.
Yeah.
And now they're developers. They've been in tech for 5 years. The other guy, it took him 5 years to get a job in tech. He's been in tech for 1 year now. And it's kind of cool to see how like they both mentioned how they watched so many of my videos. And that's one of the reasons why they became developers today. And it's crazy because I get to see them. I met their wives. I'm actually friends with their wives now. So it's humbling to see something that I thought no one cared about make an impact somehow.
Yeah. I mean, you were like, I think when I was trying to learn, I went to YouTube and I was like, "Life of a Web Developer," and you were like top two, top three that came
Oh,
up.
really? Oh, wow. My
And
Yuko was number one. I remember that.
yeah, yep, yep,
Number
yep, yep,
one. Huge.
yep. Huge, huge, bro.
Yeah.
But on my search engine, like you were number one, bro. And man, I've watched legit all your videos. like, it got to a point where obviously I'm learning how to code, and I love basketball. I still love basketball, and I was like, you know what? I can't focus on basketball. I can't focus on these other activities that's not pushing me towards my goal, right? So my entertainment, like my Netflix, was watching your YouTube channel. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it was like, man, at least I'm getting some kind of tech value, even though it's not, it might not be leak code or whatever, but it's still massaging my brain to think on the path of becoming a developer. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so, yeah. Long story short, man, I'm giving you flowers today, and so thank you, bro.
No, I appreciate it, man.
Yeah. Let's get it, bro. We're gonna dissect your story, decode your story. Hence the name of the podcast, Decoded Stories. And so I usually start off with an icebreaker and a this or that segment, but I feel like your story is like so much that I want us to have enough time for you to give value. So we'll skip the this or that section and we'll just do an icebreaker. All right.
Cool, cool.
So quick icebreaker. I'm a foodie. I know you're also a foodie as well. What is your favorite Korean dish?
Korean barbecue, bro.
Yes, sir.
I have my Korean barbecue with kimchi, of course, but like legit kimchi. So I love Korea. I learned their language because I love Korea so much.
Yeah.
I'm Filipino. I don't even know Filipino. I've been to Korea I think 3 or 4 times already.
Nice.
Planning on going there again when the baby's born. But like kimchi, of course, obviously. But it's the Korean. Well, I guess two, one and two. Number one is Korean barbecue, which I love. No, there's a lot. See, I don't know if you know what this is, but it's called sangyo sip. I think it's called.
Mm-mm.
It's
What is that?
it's a Korean soup dish.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really good with beef and noodles, and then you put your rice in it. It's pretty good. So that and number three is the Korean fried chicken, of course. But
Yeah.
yeah,
That's it.
I've eaten all the Korean food you can
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
imagine.
I'm a big fan of so my wife is like I feel like if my wife came back into like life again, she would want to be Korean or some kind of Asian because she got me into like Korean drama when she was in college, so we
Oh,
watched a
so you're
lot
into
of
Korean dramas now?
yeah. Well, not now because now I got
Okay.
kids and I'm too busy, bro. But yeah, she was into it and so I got into it also.
Mm.
And her favorite cuisine is Korean.
Mm.
Any kind of Korean food, from like japchae to
Nice.
bulgogi to the steamed egg, like yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's great.
yeah,
That's
man, yeah,
good.
man, yeah, man. All right, man. So let's do this, bro. I would say I know your story, but for those who might not know your journey, I want to kind of just like dissect your story, bro, from the beginning, man. Like
Yeah.
from before even code. So I know. Let's do this, man. How was your childhood, bro? How was childhood?
My childhood. Dang, I never talk about that. It was interesting because my parents divorced when I was really young. Like, it's weird to see. I don't ever want to see my mom and dad together. I love my stepmom and I love my stepdad. Right? They're like, I'm. That's how I'm used to my parents. But yeah, I grew up like in my mom's house for a little bit. For no, my dad's house. I grew up with my dad for like 13 years. Then when I turned 13, I moved with my mom. Lived in Vegas, dude. Like high school wise, dude, I went to I think 5 different high schools.
What, five?
Yeah, so in the Bay Area, I went to Westmore High School, Jefferson High School, just the Bay Area, and Belmont. Oh, I guess 4 high schools, and then I went to one high school here in Las Vegas. But then I moved back, so I went to the same high school twice back in California. But I switched schools 5 times, I guess you could say.
Wait,
It's
so
kind of
that's I
funny.
mean, because that's high school is 4 years. So you switched like
Oh
every
yeah,
year?
dude. Every time I got a girlfriend, my parents upped and like and moved out, bought a new house or got a new apartment.
Wow.
Every time, and it
Mm,
sucked because I don't have any of my friends from high school. I mean, if you stay at the
mm,
same high school for 4 years, you have friends that you'll be with friends with for a while.
yeah,
I didn't have any of that. I've never experienced that because I moved so much. So when I
yeah.
graduated high school, I moved back to Daly City, the Bay Area, for my senior year.
Mm,
And yeah, I had friends, but I wasn't close with anyone. I was just like, all right, trying to figure out how to just survive the year, from bullies and stuff and etc. And actually talking about that too, like I got bullied a lot.
mm.
because I moved so much and I didn't really have friends anywhere because of that. Gosh, the amount of people that would bully me was insane. Um, and it's funny though talking about that because one of those bullies a couple years ago asked me, "Hey Chris, can you? I'm sorry for how I treated you. Can you teach me how to code?" I told him no, but I told him no. No, I didn't even respond to him. I just blocked him.
Yeah,
I just
yeah,
blocked him.
yeah,
Yeah, but it's just funny how the tables turned.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, and so, but yeah, other than that, man, other than that, it's funny because I don't even know how I graduated high school. I
Mm.
have dyslexia. I never did homework. All I did was play video games, and I had no idea how I'd survive after that because college sucked. I dropped out of I think 4 different colleges. Right.
Wow.
So it was hard for me. So from my 20s to 27, before I became a developer, I was just trying to survive, figuring out how to survive. I remember telling myself in my early 20s, dang, I don't think I can ever get married because I can't even make enough money to support myself.
Mm.
How will I have enough money to support my wife if I ever get one?
Mm.
And I also had like a health situation where I needed really good medicine, and that alone was way too expensive for me. So I was like, I just don't even know how I'll even make it through life. I'm just gonna live day by day, just like everyone else. And damn, man, if you would have told me back then, I'd be where I am today.
Crazy,
Paid off car,
crazy.
about to buy a pretty nice house, and that house will be paid off in 5 years.
Mm.
So by the time I'm 43 or 42, no bills.
You're debt free, bro.
Dude,
Debt free. That's
yo,
crazy.
dude,
Yeah,
like it's crazy to think that's even possible, but
yeah,
it's like kind of too possible if that makes sense. Like I can see it so clearly now.
yeah. Like you busted your butt though, bro. Like it's not.
Yeah,
You didn't just wake up and just acquire all this. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
you busted your butt, and obviously we're gonna dig deeper. But I want to ask this though. So go back to childhood, man. So obviously so you got bullied. I've gotten bullied before too, and I know how that feels. Um, with also having dyslexia and moving around, not keeping friends because you moved. How did that make you feel, man? Did you ever feel lonely? Did you ever feel
oh yeah.
suicidal? Did you
Well,
ever feel
no, I
like
never felt that because of video games.
okay.
And also my dad worked 3 jobs, so he was never home. Like he would never see my report cards because I'd hide it.
Mm,
He would never see it because I'm home before him. So my dad would work 3 jobs. So he was never home because he had to take care of me. But video games.
yeah, yeah.
There was a story. I remember this. My first girlfriend, her name was Cheryl Alberto. When I was back in middle school, she
Shout
wanted
out Cheryl, wherever you are.
she wanted to go to my house, and I'm like, oh, why? I had no idea because she wanted to do something. I'm just a gamer. I don't think about any of that stuff. She sat on my bed and all I did was play GoldenEye 007 on Nintendo 64. And I'm like, isn't this fun? And she got bored and she said, Chris, I'm gonna go home. Okay, all right. And I didn't even walk around. I closed the door behind her. But
Wow.
I didn't know, right? I was so
Yeah,
innocent, but
yeah,
like, why was I never depressed back then, or had any suicidal thoughts? Is because I had gaming.
yeah, yeah,
I had 007 GoldenEye. I don't even know if you know what that is, but Nintendo 64. It's old school. So I just
yeah,
had
yeah,
gaming. I gamed all day, every day,
yeah,
and that was my happiness. So I never really felt sad.
yeah.
And
Okay.
and because I didn't have friends, that meant friends. All I did was just play all day too.
Yeah, yeah. So before tech, obviously, I don't think that tech was the first thing on your list, right? I
Yeah.
believe it was nursing. I believe you were in nursing school, right? Some other careers as well. Walk me through that path of trying to
Oh,
figure
dude,
out
yeah.
what to do.
Well, I didn't know what I wanted to do because I wasn't good at anything. The only thing I was good at was gaming, Counter Strike to be exact. Um, no World of Warcraft. Oh my! But other than that, I first tried to go nursing school because almost everyone in my family who's Filipino works in the medical field. They're pharmacists, physical therapists,
Yeah,
doctor, surgeon. Um, so I figured, all right, I might as well do that. That's what everyone says. That's how you make money. And I tried applying to nursing school, tried to get in, but my GPA was just terrible. So no one accepted me. I applied 3 times, got rejected 3 times because my GPA in college was terrible. So I tried to get my general ed, but I just kept failing my classes because I never did homework.
hmm.
And it's actually kind of funny because when I think of it now, why did I never do my homework? It's because I was never scared of deadlines. And then I checked with a doctor. They told me that was a symptom of dyslexia, where
Mm.
you kind of see time a little different. Like usually when people have a deadline, that's what pushes them to get something done. For me, it can be tomorrow and I don't feel anything at all. It's kind of weird. It's kind of how like a perception of time. And so because of that, yeah, I never did my homework. I'm just playing video games and I'm like, whatever. I don't care if I don't
Yeah, yeah,
graduate.
yeah.
So I tried to do that 3 times. I failed. A couple years later, when I was 26, I was living in my car at this time. I'm like, I need to figure something out because this sucks. Because I got kicked out of every house I ever lived in, because I was so used to people taking care of me, and because of that, I never really cared about taking care of myself.
Mm.
And so when I was finally living in my car, I realized I need to do something else. So I tried to be an electrician. There's a school in Orange County where it's a journeyman school where you become an apprentice, but they pay you to be an apprentice. They pay you pretty good money. And I studied my butt off. I bought books. I studied like my life depended on it. And I failed terribly. Okay, so this is how bad I am at learning. Okay. Actually, when I tried to join the military as well, this was after 9/11. I wanted to literally fight in Iraq and die for my country. That was my dream.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
when I took the test, ASVAB test to join the military, I failed that too, to the point that there were only 3 jobs I qualified for. That's
Mm.
a cook, truck driver, and infantry. So like you can cook food for
Wow.
people, you can truck drive, Chris, or you
Yeah,
can just
yeah,
die at the front lines.
yeah, yeah.
Right. So so those are the only jobs I qualified for in the military. So that's how bad I am when it comes to anything with books or studying. So it's kind of crazy to see how where I am now, where like people
Yeah,
pay me multiple 6 figures
yeah,
to represent them, to be the face of their company
yeah,
wherever I go.
yeah,
It's insane.
yeah. Man, that's amazing, bro. I think like this is even like your childhood like life, bro. Like you've had a tough life of just like it seems like a is it a rat in a wheel? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Getting kicked out of a house,
Every house. This is
every
my
house.
mom, my dad's house. When my dad was in jail, my stepmom's house got kicked out. My aunt, my uncle, my dad's friends, everyone kicked me out. No one wanted me. It was crazy. It's my
So
fault. It was my fault though. I was spoiled.
yeah, yeah,
My fault.
yeah. So all this, bro, what helped you get through this was gaming. So I know some people, bro, who will go through hell like this and it's clipped. Like, but for you, it's like gaming was
Well, talking about that, ironically, my first year as a dev, no, my third year as a developer was the first time I ever thought of killing myself. This is when I
your
had my
first
second
year as a
developer job,
developer,
my third year. So,
third year.
so my first 2 years I was at my junior job. My second job was as a mid-level front-end engineer at entrepreneur.com.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the first time I ever thought of killing myself because I thought being a developer meant that you'll be rich right away. I thought being a developer, at least in your second job, because I was making 45K in my first job. Second job only paid 70. Again, that's not a lot for California. I thought my life would change drastically, and it didn't.
Mm.
And it was also my fault because I didn't know how to handle money. So when I started making my money, guess what I did?
Spending more.
Upgraded my lifestyle, spent my money, and like I think when I was making 70K a year, I was making like 2,100 every 2 weeks. My rent alone was 2,300. My car payment was like 700. My
Wow.
insurance, because I didn't have insurance, I had to pay like through Obamacare, was another 650 a month. My medicine was another 250, not including phone bills and food. So
Mm.
YouTube, my income from YouTube ads, which was only like 300 a month at the time, is the only reason I was able to eat.
Wow.
Yeah, it's my fault though, because again, like lifestyle creep. I didn't know how to handle money.
Yeah.
I lived over my means, but because I was struggling so bad financially, I didn't know how I'd catch up. I was like, I remember my mom called the police to go to my apartment. And I just remember the police opening my door. I'm like, how the heck did they open the door and asking me if I'm okay. And then my dad, who lives in San Francisco, appeared out of nowhere in Orange County at my house at the same time,
Mm.
to check on me. But yeah, it's funny because like I thought being a dev would change everything, but no,
Mm.
right? No one taught me how to handle money, and that's also my fault. It's not just my parents' fault, And so like, yeah, that's why now it's different, man. Like I
Yeah.
live on less than half my income.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like my
This is
life is
more
totally different
intentional.
now. Oh yeah, dude. Like it's so crazy. Like not worrying about money, but like not just that. Like cars paid off. We have emergency fund that'll last us a year and a half if I was to lose my job.
Nice.
Right.
Nice.
So I'll use probably 6 months of that 1.5 emergency fund to buy a house soon. But and I can save literally like $5,000 to $6,000 a month
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
I didn't want to buy this nice stuff too. So like it's kind of crazy how the situation completely changed.
Yeah.
That if I gave up and killed myself, dude, I would have never been here where I am
Mm.
now.
Mm. It's dope to see like you even like take accountability, bro, because you're like all this stuff happened, all this stuff happened, but that's my fault, but that's my fault. And I feel like most people will be like, no, like I had like a 1%, part to play. You know what I mean? And I think that like you owning up and saying, hey, like this is on me. Things has happened. Other things played a part, but this is my life, and so like you're taking accountability. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
go
Um,
ahead, go ahead.
yeah, I remember when I was living in my car, I told myself, Chris, no one will take care of you anymore. You got
Mm,
the last one to kick me out was my aunt, Tita Cheryl, in Orange County, California. And I remember telling myself, no one cares about you. And if I don't care about myself, why would anyone else care about me? If no one else is going to help me, and if I don't help myself, I'm going to be in this situation, if not worse, when I'm in my 30s. And so I had to really tell myself, this is your fault. You're in this position. I was so used to blaming other people. It's their fault. It's their fault. They shouldn't have kicked me out. That's my uncle. That's my mom. That's my dad. Why would they do that? And so like I had to really take accountability myself and tell myself, Chris, no one cares about you. If you were to die, everyone would move on. If you have a hard life, no one cares because everyone else is trying to survive their own life. And so I told myself, I need to make that change. And if I don't change that or my mindset, which meant giving up gaming, which as I shared, helped me save me from depression and so many times, I would be in the same position. And so that's one of the reasons why, as you mentioned earlier, how I stay up late at night, not just learning how to code, but also learning how to edit and make videos because I never wanted to go back to that situation again.
wow. You live in your car, you're working a job, and how did you stumble across coding? How did you stumble across the idea to
Yeah,
code?
I was working for this company who does expo events. Like they set up the cameras or the TVs at the conferences that you see. And my desk was at the perfect position where no one can see my screen, not even the CEOs. And so I would watch YouTube videos. And I bumped into this video of Bill Gates, who all I am, Chris Bosch, who was with the Miami Heat at the time, talk about how you don't need to be smart to be an engineer. And I remember thinking, what? Okay, because that's not me. I failed at everything.
Mm,
I'm not
mm,
smart. I failed at everything.
yeah.
Maybe this could change my life. And then I searched Google how to become a web developer, and a developer. I didn't even know what a web developer was. And Team Treehouse popped up. Went on there, learned code for 3 months. By the way, I was learning code for 3 months while working at that same job.
Mm.
And I remember my manager asking me, Chris, what are you doing? You look like you're doing something else. No, I'm not. And I remember they threatened to fire me, which is they have the right to because I was doing other stuff on the job. But a week after they told me, Chris, we'll give you're on probation for a week. You need to make changes. I applied to a junior developer position and got the job, and I quit that on the day. Like I just told them, hey, a 1 week later when I got that offer, I'm leaving. Bye.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was so
yeah,
satisfying.
yeah, yeah.
That was so satisfying.
How was that offer, bro? Because you at that time you only knew HTML, CSS, and barely JavaScript.
No, no, I barely knew HTML, CSS. I didn't know
You
any JavaScript.
barely even, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
How did
so it was
how
luck.
did
It was
it
luck.
was luck? How many jobs did you apply to before you got that
I
job?
applied to 3 to 5 jobs a day. I told myself while at work, applied to 3 to 5 jobs every single day. So I would just casually apply. I would mainly go to Indeed.com, Craigslist.
Mm,
LinkedIn wasn't as popular. I get maybe it was, but not for me. I felt like it was harder to get jobs, so I tried to get jobs at smaller companies, hence Indeed and Craigslist. Yeah, and I would apply to like 3 to 5 jobs at the time, just casually.
yeah.
And this was the first job I had to interview for. That first job I had was my first tech interview.
Wow.
And I remember the night prior to that, staying up all night making my portfolio, and showing that to the CEO of the company that hired me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's dope. So you were at that job for I believe 2 years. Correct me if I'm wrong. Right?
Yes, 2 years.
2 years. Then you're like, man, you need more money because I think they were paying you about 45.
45K. Yeah, they
Okay.
wouldn't give me a pay raise. And when they said yes, they wouldn't give me a pay raise. So that's when I decided to apply. So I applied to entrepreneur. I saw entrepreneur was hiring. Funny enough, I tried to apply to entrepreneur my first year in tech. After 1 year, I tried to apply to entrepreneur. They hired someone else. They rejected me. And then a year later, after 2 years of my first tech job, I'm like, I'm gonna apply there again, and I got the job. So they paid me 70K a year, and it's funny because I remember a couple of weeks before that job, my company telling me like, no, Chris, we're not gonna give you a pay raise. After 2 years, still making only 45K a year. When I gave them a job offer, they're like, Chris, we'll pay you 60K a year now if you want to stay here. And I'm like, hold on. You just saw that I received a job offer for 70K. You want to only pay me 60? No, I'm good.
Crazy.
I'm leaving.
Crazy.
I'm gone.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. So entrepreneur is where I saw you doing like a lot of vlogs that like caught my
In the
attention.
office.
In the office, bro.
They let me do it. They're like, we
In
want
the
you to do it.
office.
I'm like, okay, yeah, all
Yeah,
right, I'll
in
do
the
it.
office, bro. How is content creation like balancing content creation and your second job? Because
It's
I know
hard.
you had a lot to do at
It, it,
entrepreneur.
it's hard. So sometimes I tell myself, Chris, if you can start over, don't do YouTube.
Hmm.
Because I
Really?
put more time into YouTube than learning code. So when I learned code, it was just on the job. When I got good at what I had to do for work, I was good enough. I'd stop learning that particular language or trying to improve on that language
Yeah.
outside of work. Instead, outside of work, it was all about trying to grow my YouTube channel.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so when I look back and I think sometimes, if I didn't have YouTube, I'd be a much better developer right now,
Hmm.
right? But on the other hand, because of YouTube, I don't necessarily need a tech job to survive anymore.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
pros and cons.
Yeah. So entrepreneur, I think you're there for like another 2 years, and
Yeah,
then pandemic hits, and
laid off during
you got
COVID.
laid off, right?
Yeah,
When I heard you got laid off, I was like, what? Like, like there's certain people that you are like, man, they can never get laid off, right? But obviously we know that we're just a number, right? Um,
yep.
Talk to me about that layoff, bro. Like you've
Dude,
busted your butt, you're here, you're where you are now.
yeah, that
How's
that was
layoffs, bro?
that was tough. I remember making a video. I was laid off in that video. My small dog, my brown dog, was next to me when I bought her. My standard poodle. He actually died 2 months ago. So here's his like cremation thing. So
Oh,
he died, but my dog was in that video.
yeah.
When I literally just got him, like a week after I got him. But yeah, it was the hardest thing ever, man, because I everything was easy. Like I was making 70K a year, but that was the most money I've ever made, right? And I just felt like I was rich already because my parents were depending on me at the time. That's why I moved back to Vegas during the pandemic because they got laid off from their jobs at the casino at the strip. And so I came here to help them out. So yeah, they're still in the same house. I'm at like five houses down from them now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And so yeah, I moved there to help them, and to lose my job, I was worried because I'm like, oh my gosh, how are we gonna pay rent now? But then I realized, wait, I do social media.
And it
I'm
pays.
and there's no chat GPT back then, so I'm
Yeah.
bad at spelling and writing, but I took so much time to create one tweet to talk about how my family's depending on me. I don't know how to take care of them. I lost my job. I got laid off. And that's when the CEO of my first job reached out back to me. And he told me, Chris, I want to pay you. I'll pay you 10K more than your last job, 80K a year. Move to Nashville. Or not, well, it's near Nashville, but move to Virginia.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nashville's in Tennessee, but it's at the border. And help me build a startup. I'll pay you 80K a year. Only 10K more. But I'm like, all right. And he told me, when you move to here to Virginia, I'll give you a free car. You don't have to pay rent in your house, right? That's free for you, for your house and everything. I'm like, okay. So I pick up everything. I bring my two dogs. I drive 40 hours or 50 hours to Virginia, and all of that was a lie. When I got to Virginia, after driving there, my dogs and my car packed with things, the house wasn't ready. So I was stuck living in a hotel for 2 months.
Did you have to pay for hotel or he paid for that hotel?
He paid for it, but he was
Okay.
upset with how expensive it was. Because I'm not going to stay in like a Motel
Of
6.
course. Of course.
Because he tried to put me in one, and I saw spiders everywhere. I'm like, nah, I'm not leaving my dogs here.
Yeah.
And this is in the middle of nowhere. This is the South. It's like, I found snakes, and I went to a nice hotel in the Marriott, nice, expensive hotel. There was a snake in my room, right? So so finding a nice place was important to me. But yeah, he got mad at me, for staying at the nicer places. I'm like, dude, you told me there'd be a house for me to live in when I got here. There's not a house.
Yeah.
That's not right. So then yeah, and then he said that he would just give me his car so I can sell my car. He didn't give me a car. I had to buy a car. He said I can live because he has like 70 million bucks, so he bought houses everywhere. He said I can live in one of the houses for free. Nope, I had to pay rent. So I was shocked. I'm like, I thought that I wouldn't have to pay for these things, make 80K a year, and so I can support my family while I support myself in Virginia.
Of course. Of course.
And that wasn't true.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did you bounce back from that, bro? Did you come back to Cali? Like how did you
Yeah,
bounce
I
back from
came
that?
back. Well, I moved to Nashville
Okay.
because he said that I could still work for him if I moved back to Nashville. But at that time, I also got the job at New Relic as a developer advocate.
Mm-hmm.
And that, dude, that's when my income jumped from 80K to 180K a year.
When you said that number in the video, I was like, that's
Dude,
crazy.
like it's
Crazy.
well, it's 160K base, right? So plus, bonus
Yeah,
20K.
yeah, yeah.
But even just 80K to 160, that's double my income. That was a lot. But check this out. So after taxes, I was making 10K a month, right? After
Mm-hmm.
taxes. Guess how much I had left over every month? Negative. Why? Because I got a nice apartment in Nashville. At the same time, I'm paying for my parents' house, my parents' electric bills because I still couldn't find a job. And I started making a lot more money, but I spent a lot more too,
Mm.
which I regret to this day. I wish from that moment I started investing in my 401k.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You
Oh
know,
yeah.
but I didn't know. I knew nothing about what to do with money. All I knew was there are a lot of things I couldn't have while growing up. There are a lot of things I wished to have when I was living in my car, and now I can have anything.
Mm.
That's why I bought a Porsche, which was also dumb, but it's actually pretty cheap. But when I got it, yeah, so like yeah, that jump was insane to do. That was absolutely insane.
Yeah. And I know in between that you started a business, right? Developer
Yeah,
branded.
what development? Yeah, so while I worked for New Relic, I was still doing contract work for that previous employer. And I'm like, all right, I can't do both jobs, so I hired developers from the Philippines to do the coding for me for that one client, for that
Okay.
one client. And then at the same time, I started finding more clients, and that was nice, but it was too overwhelming. And then my engineers in the Philippines started disappearing, like they disappeared weeks on time because they said they lost power. I didn't
Mm.
believe that was true until I met my wife, who was in the Philippines, and she would lose power for a week. So
Gotcha.
now I feel bad for firing
Dang.
them, but I just thought they were lying. But yeah, I did that too. So I tried a lot of new things just to make more money
Yeah.
because I wasn't making enough because I was spending too much though,
Mm.
living over my means.
Bro, at what point did you learn like finances? Like you're making all this money, but you're not living within your means.
Yeah, so when I was laid off from my next job, Airbite, that job was paying me 200K a year base. I thought that I would be at that job for a long time because I was really good at it.
Hmm.
When I got laid off, I told myself, Chris, you're so stupid. Well, okay, I've been going to. I was also going to the Philippines 3 times a year to visit my fiance. Now she's here, but I was spending money like there was nothing because I felt like I should live like this. I'm a YouTuber, right? I make good money. I make 5 to 10K a month from brand deals alone every month. I should live like this.
Mm.
But when I got laid off, and I had this big car payment, this rent, I'm like, dang, Chris, next time you get a job, you can't do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And so yeah, I was laid off for 9 months. Couldn't find a job. I was living, but YouTube was kicking off. So on YouTube, I was making like 20, 30K a month
Yeah.
for 9 months, or for 6 months. And then the brand deal stopped because my channel started dying.
Mm.
I'm like, no, my channel can't die. I don't have any other source of income. So it started dying. And it got to the point where I only had $1,000 left in my bank, less than 1,000. And that's the first time in a long time to see that. And this is when my wife is already here in America. She's only been in America for 2 months, and we only had $1,000 left in my bank. That was terrifying because I just thought, okay, I might be homeless again, or I might have to live with my parents, which I do not want to do. Yeah, man. So that was scary, but things worked out because before having less than $1,000 in my bank, I started building my own agency again, DevRel agency, trying to get clients, and I got 2 clients just in time before I ran out of money. Like, dude, I maxed out my credit cards, and I found 2 clients, and those 2 clients combined were paying me $25,000 a month. And then I found a full-time job paying me $18,000 a month. So like all of this happening all at once, man. Like I felt like I was just at the edge of my seat, about to
Yeah.
die,
Yeah.
about to go homeless again, and it worked out. And ever since then, that's why I have so much savings now, right?
Yeah.
Literally because of that. So I made a lot of money for a while, and I just use that to catch up on my taxes, my credit
Mm.
cards, my bills, and save as much money as possible. So yeah, my situation totally different. I'm never going back to that. But it took me 7 years to realize that.
Mm. Wow.
Stupid. Yeah, it
Wow.
was stupid of me.
So from coming from not having money to having money, bro, like what is like the biggest lesson you've learned? Obviously besides saving.
Uh, no one cares about how much money you make. No one cares about how nice your life looks like in social media. No one cares. Like I see people who make good money. I'm like, dang, that's a nice house. Cool. All right, let me go back to Netflix or TikTok. Um, no one cares. And I think it's really important to ingrain that into your mind because like I know people in my family who are living who make 2K a month and their car payment is $900 a month and they bought another car where the car payment is additional 500. That's not including the rent. Right. And so like, but they buy these nice cars because they want to look rich to their neighbors and to their friends. No one cares because I learned that from my parents, like trying to look like Filipinos are like this. You want to look rich, you want to look like well off. No one cares, and you have to ingrain that. And it took me a long time to change that mindset, a very long time.
Dave Ramsey, I don't know if you know who Dave Ramsey
Oh
is.
yeah, I love
He's
Dave Ramsey.
yeah, he's one of the people that whenever Dave Ramsey's name come up, there's people who hate him and love him. You know what I mean? But for me, I'm somebody who I take the good, and
Mhm.
if I can use it to apply to my life, I'll go for it. And
Oh yeah, I
he
don't play
always,
everything he does. He
oh yeah,
says
yeah, yeah,
I have
yeah.
credit cards.
I feel you, bro. And he was like, most people are broke. And you know the way Dave Ramsey talks, he's like
Yeah,
blunt.
yeah,
He's like, man, most people are broke, living paycheck to paycheck, and you're buying a car to impress somebody at a stoplight that you're never gonna meet. They don't care about you. And I was like, what?
yeah. It's true though. It's true. Like I think he also said, you look at the 10 houses on your street.
Mm,
7 of the 10 homes you're looking at are people living paycheck to paycheck,
yep. Yep.
if not even less. They're going
Yeah.
negative.
Yeah.
I have a relative who came up to me because they know how much I make. So like after taxes every month, I make like 14, 15K, not including YouTuber brand deals, right?
Yeah.
After taxes. That's a lot. And a relative came up to me and they're like, Chris, why do you keep renting? Why don't you just buy a house? It's okay to have a $6,000 per month mortgage. That's all right. That's normal. And I'm like, dang, that's why you guys are struggling so much.
Mm,
This is the person that has a $900 car payment and another $500
mm,
additional car payment. And I'm like, that's why you guys have been struggling your whole life because you still like, try to look like you're
yeah.
rich.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I have the money. It doesn't mean I want to spend it because if I don't have that money anymore if I spend it. So like for me, like I can technically afford $1 million home right now, right? Like 7K a month on a mortgage,
Yeah.
technically based on what the banks tell me.
Yeah.
But nah, dude, I want a monthly payment of 2,500
Yeah.
a month.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like that's what I'm looking at because I just want to keep my money. Like
Yeah.
I don't want to. I don't care about looking like I have money anymore.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, talk to me about work-life balance. I know you've had your share of, balancing work and life, and also, I guess, two-part question, and also talk to me about micromanaging because I've had my share of that, and I know that you've had your share on that. This is probably why I tick you off, but go ahead, bro. Go ahead and relive memory lane.
Yeah, micromanaging sucks. I've had 2 of them. I can't say the companies because they can sue me, I guess, if I say. But at one company, I was there for 2 months. I quit. I left New Relic that was paying me 180K a year to join this other company that was paying me like 190K a year. Biggest regret, one of the worst mistakes I've made. Although I'm where I am now because of it, but leaving a really great job just to make $10,000 more because I felt like I needed to make that extra couple $100
Hmm.
again
Hmm.
because living above my means. I joined that company. The worst micromanagement I've ever lived under.
Mm.
Someone who doesn't care about your balance. Actually, I remember telling my manager at this job, "Hey, after I give talks at conferences, my last job will let me take a couple days off so I can, kind of like recover because traveling is exhausting." And this manager said, "I'll never let you take that much vacation." And I'm like, "Oh shoot, this is bad." And he
Wow.
kept saying something. He kept saying, Chris, like, we're like a family here. I got you. Like, I got you. I have your back. And always hearing that, it's like, no, you don't. You're
Mm.
just saying that. But yeah, he micromanaged me like crazy. And so I quit that job after 2 months. Just quit. I'm like, I can't handle this anymore. I emailed him, hey, I'm out. Bye.
Mm.
And then, but what's funny though, because that was when it was easy to get jobs in tech. I got a new job in tech 3 weeks later.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, I received 2 job offers actually after that. So yeah, but micromanagement sucks, man, because there was one job I was at for 2 years as well, where my manager was the co-founder, the COO of the company. And dude, like when your manager is the co-founder, it's different.
Mm.
it is different. And this person would like, dig into the most tiniest mistakes, which is frustrating. It's his baby though. The company's his baby, so I understand.
Of course. Yeah.
But like I just couldn't handle it because I want
Yeah.
that freedom to succeed on my own.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks. It happens. But not every company's like that. Like my company now, dude. I work for PingCap, TiDB, Titanium Database.
Hmm.
Dude, like I want to stay here for the next 10 years.
Mm.
Yeah, they're paying me more than all the other companies have ever paid me, but the work-life balance, the freedom I have to just get stuff done,
Peace of mind.
peace of mind. The company's doing really well too. It's a startup, but dang, they're doing well.
Yeah.
No, I know how, no, I can't say that. But they're doing really well. So, dude, like,
Don't get in trouble, bro.
yeah, I'm not gonna, yeah. So like, but this company I'm at now, like, it's totally different from any other job I've ever had,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And actually, the owners are this company was founded in China, so they have a HQ in the US now. But I thought, okay, maybe it'll be a little different working for a company that was founded in China at first. But
Hmm.
no, dude, this is the best company I've ever worked for. I love it so
Wow.
much.
Wow. Hey, prayers and wishing you luck that, everything goes well. So you are somebody that I know after like, watching your videos that if you're not if you're not happy, if you're not doing good work, if you're not making an impact, like you're
I
ready to
get
leave,
bored.
bro. You get bored.
Yeah,
And
yeah, I get bored.
can you talk a bit about that? Because I think a lot of times people see the money is like, okay, we're getting paid six figures, and so let me just do what I hate. But for you, it's like no, like your journey in your career and your impact means a lot to you. Like where do you
Yeah,
get that from? Like you're coming from nothing, bro, and you're getting
yeah.
paid. Like you're willing to walk away from money if you're not
Yeah,
making an impact.
that's so I remember earlier I mentioned how had two clients paying me 25K a month.
Mm,
The reason I lost those clients is because I got bored.
mm,
I stopped putting as much effort into it
yeah,
because I'm like, this is boring. This is not what I signed up to do. I'm not enjoying it. I remember telling my wife like, hey, like we're making like 40K a month right now, but it's okay if we only make 18 with one full-time job
mm,
because like I'm not happy. Like I don't enjoy it. She's like, yeah, we only have like our bills are only 5K a month, right? And then
mm,
make significantly more than that. So like,
yeah,
yeah, let's just lose it.
yeah, yeah,
The other side of me is like, Chris, you're stupid. You could have been multi-millionaire in like 5 years. But the happier side of me is, Chris, now you have all this free time.
hmm,
Dude, like I had no free time.
yeah,
Making a
yeah,
lot, dude, I can buy literally anything. But yeah, I mean, I chose happiness before money because I've made a lot of money. And yeah, so I was making 430K a year.
mm,
Um, that was amazing. But at the same time, I didn't really have a life.
yeah,
Or
yeah,
I was so stressed out because it demanded so much from me. And so I willingly gave that up. Like, again, though, it's easy to give it up when your full
of
time job is
course,
paying you a lot.
of course,
Right? It's
yeah,
very easy.
yeah,
But yeah, I happily gave that up because I just wanted that just to actually live a normal life.
mm,
Hence why I stopped YouTube for so long too. Because
yeah. Bro, come
I'm like,
back. We miss you, man. Come back, please.
yeah, I made one video. I'll make another one soon.
You made one like a couple months ago, right? I think
No, like I think it's like 2 weeks ago. I made a
two
new
weeks ago.
one.
Okay.
I made a new one. But and surprising that video got 10,000 views. I don't know why. I was expecting it
Mm.
to get 1,000. Um, but yeah. So that's why I stopped making YouTube because I didn't need the extra income. But yeah, and now I have free time again.
Bro, you're able to provide for your family. You have a wife. You have dogs. Like you have a place. How does that feel, man? Like, how
Dude.
does that feel knowing that you can actually provide?
You know, I remember being so anxious because I'm not sure what I'll eat tomorrow. I remember calling my mom, asking my mom for $20 so I can stretch out to $20 for 3 to 5 days from Del Taco because Del Taco sold like 37-cent tacos before, and that's what I survive off of, right? Not knowing what I'll eat or choosing between gas and food. But if I don't put gas, I can't go to work. And like if I can't work, I don't have food. And so like to be in this situation where I look forward to being laid off, right? Yeah, give me that severance. Yeah, give me that severance. That's good with me.
Yo, I'm so weak right now.
Like like just that different mindset. I remember my wife's asking me because I changed teams. We still don't know what the OKRs, our goals are for the year yet, so I'm not as busy as usual. My wife was asking me, Chris, why are you not busy these last 2 weeks? Like, you're not as busy as normal. You're gonna get laid off. And I told her, no, but if I get laid off, it's fine. Yeah, we'll find for a year
We'll
and a
figure
half.
yeah, we'll figure it out. Yeah.
Let me take 3 months off, and then I'll take
Mm,
another 3 months to find a job. Like, it's okay. Yeah, so to be in that situation where you have no worries, what there's
Mm.
worries always, there's always worries,
Yeah.
but like no anxiety,
Yeah.
right? No fear of will I provide for my family. Actually, now I have a problem. Should I put $70,000 down for a house, or should I only put 20,000? Like
Good
that's a
problem
nice
to
problem
have,
to
bro.
have. That's
Yeah.
a nice problem to have. Should I put, or and like, oh wait, actually I should put only 20K because that extra $300 per month payment doesn't affect our life whatsoever. I'd rather have more cash to help us, for another rainy day. Or I
Mm.
can actually I want to get the Cybertruck. Um, so I plan on getting that hopefully next month. But yeah, so just to be in that situation, man, compared to where I was when I don't even know what I was gonna eat the next day,
Mm. Mm.
right? It's a dream come true, but it took a lot of work. My
Yeah.
mom told me, Chris, you barely work as much as you used to. Like, what do you mean? You're saying, what do you mean, you work hard? I'm like, Mom, I get to have this kind of life because I worked my butt off for like 8 years to get to where I am today.
Yo, so, obviously the podcast is for anybody who's watching, but speaking about working your butt off, man, like, do you have anything you can tell somebody who is, was like you, was like myself? Because most people
Yeah.
don't know. Like, I was basically in the same boat as you, bro. Like, my wife and I, at one point, we made 17,000 in a year,
And it's not, and how many
and
kids do you have?
three. That was with three kids, bro.
Yeah.
We're on food stamps.
Yeah. I know, miss those
Um,
days, man.
bro, we're doing Uber. My wife is like, she's pregnant, like she's legit
Yeah.
pregnant, and
And she
she's
has to
like,
work.
not just work, bro. She has to drive and deliver food
Yeah.
to like
Dude, my wife's
randos.
pregnant. She's tired all day. She sleeps all day.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, I can only imagine if she had to work.
bro. It was crazy,
Yeah.
and I will see. So we have our location, so I can see where she's at, and she's in some
Yeah.
kind of boonies delivering food, and it's like we need that $7.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
we
crazy.
need that ten
Hopefully they
dollars.
tip. Hopefully they tip.
Half the time they didn't, bro.
Yeah, that's what that's
And
what I'm
even if
told.
they did tip, like who wants like a pregnant wife driving
Yeah,
Uber? You know what I
yeah.
mean?
You never know what's
And
gonna happen.
yeah, man. And so I guess like, do you have any kind of encouraging words? I mean, obviously, besides like, yo, like work your tail off. You know what I mean? What do you have to tell somebody who is just watching this and is like, man, like I'm
Yeah.
I'm in this race, bro. I can't.
You know, gosh, that's crazy. Almost a decade ago when I got my first tech job, everyone, including all my friends and family, was telling me, Chris, it's so saturated, you can't get a job. Now it's more saturated than ever. Back then, not even close. Uh, but everyone kept said it was saturated, it won't be worth it. Same thing with YouTube. Why are you doing YouTube? You're not gonna get famous. You're not gonna make money. Now everyone, my family wants to be a content creator.
Mm,
Right? Um, uh, but the thing is, again, yeah, I am where I am now because I was willing to put in the work even when no one else believed that it would work. Even when everyone else thought I was wasting my time.
mm,
My friends who I told to learn code with me didn't believe it would work out. They're literally in the exact same position I was in 10 years ago today. They're still in the same position. Their life is exactly the same. They can't survive without their parents. They can't survive without their relatives, which was me also. Because they're in that position still today because they weren't willing to do what felt impossible. Because when all of your friends are poor, when all of your friends are struggling, when everyone just knows debt, they think it's okay to max out your credit card, you're gonna do it too. And because you don't know anyone else who's done it or anyone can show you that how they've done it, you don't believe it's possible for you. And so for me, I'm so thankful I follow people like Gary Vee. This is other guy named Christian Guzman. He lives in Texas. I'm actually friends with one of his friends. I forgot his name. I was friends with him. I forgot his name though. Jeez. It's kind of cool. But yeah, like I follow these people. I saw them become self-made millionaires, and I'm like, if they can change their life, the non-traditional way, why can't I? And so because I believed in it, even when I couldn't see it,
mm,
I kept working. Even when I kept failing, when no one would hire me for the first 2 years in tech, no one would hire me for a new job. I kept going, got a new job,
mm.
got laid off, kept going. Right. I remember thinking, can I find another tech job? Maybe no one else wants me. I kept going, kept improving. And so, yeah, man, like for people who are watching right now, listening, like you determine your ceiling. Like literally, dude, like I have dyslexia, man. Like it's hard for me to write letters, emails. I use ChatGPT well, maybe now it's too dependent on ChatGPT, but I use
Aren't we
ChatGPT a
all?
lot. Yeah, I use ChatGPT a lot to like improve my writing because I didn't realize how bad it was. Like, I'm a guy someone pays 200K plus a year to talk on behalf of the company around the world. And I had dyslexia. I dropped out of how many schools? No one wanted me. But who determines how far I can go? I do. I remember my uncle once told me, Chris, you'll never make more than so I was making 180K at New Relic. My uncle told me you'll never make more than that, Chris, because I was making more than him already. He was working in the medical field, and I made more than double that. That's actually also one of the reasons why I used to always share how much money I made. It's just dumb, but it was just to show literally just my uncle and my family that they were wrong about me, because no one in my family, including myself, right, thought that I'd get to the level I am today, succeed. Unfortunately, right, by God's grace. But I did that because I wanted to prove them wrong. That's literally the main reason I talked about money
Yeah.
so much, because
Yeah.
I wanted them to see, yeah, I proved you wrong. Stupid, but that was the pettiness in me.
So that's gonna be one of my questions. Like, with you being so open with your salary, like why that is. But, with you saying that is stupid. On the flip side, bro, I think it helps people. It helped me. Like, wow, I can make this amount of money. You know what I mean? And bro, at the end of the day, bro, we all flex in some way, right? And what bigger flex is like doing something that they say you couldn't do it. They say you couldn't do. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
it's satisfying. But it is very petty. So I was, I it's starting to change now because I'm married. My wife is slowly helping me change that.
shout out to our wives, bro. Shout out to
And
our
like
wives.
like I love going to church and like Bible studies, and that's slowly helping me change too. Right? I have a lot I need to change. But well, last thing though, if I can share, is I the only reason I am here today is because of God. I could have been homeless with only $1,000 in my less than $1,000 in my bank, and then the next month I have 40,000. Like it's insane, right? So like I'm here. I am where I am today because of God, and like I'm, and He can take it all away from me any day too. So I just want to live thankful for every day. I'm content more than ever, and I'll continue to be like that.
Bro, your story is amazing, man. I hope that y'all have learned a lot. Obviously, Krishan, you can, well, let me have you say, where can people find you, bro?
Um, I don't post content that much anymore. So if you just want to type Chris Sean, go for it.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah,
Type Chris Sean on Google, and hopefully you find me somewhere.
yeah, yeah. No, not hopefully. You will find him. If you want to learn how to become a developer, any kind of inspiration, um, he has a boatload of content up there that if that doesn't motivate you or inspire you, then I don't know what will. You know what I mean? But yo, man, any last words, bro?
No, man, I appreciate you inviting me on the podcast, man. I wish you
Bro,
all the success.
appreciate you, man. Thank you for coming on, man.
Of course, of course.
We out. This is great. We out, man.